My name's Nate. This is the DivMan channel. Today I want to talk about how to beat leveraged funds on indexes without using leverage. Now there's a famous bet by Warren Buffett in the 2010s, and he bet a quant guy or like a hedge fund guy $1 million that if he just put $1 million into a mutual fund that followed the S&P 500, equivalent to VOO, that he would beat whatever hedge fund the opposite bet took of $1 million at the end of 10 years. And at the end, I think it was 10 years, Warren Buffett was correct. Just a simple S&P 500 mutual fund was able to beat the fancy hedge fund guy at the end of that interval. But there is a subset of ETFs that's actually beating the indexes pretty consistently. And it's this strategy here, specifically by Invesco. And this is the Invesco fund that is using the momentum strategy to beat VOO consistently for the past few years. It's beat VOO's return. And the idea of momentum is basically you sell the losers and you buy the winners, and you try to ride the price movement of the winners insofar as those winners are in the S&P 500. So it's like a pool of funds you can buy, and then you sell the losers so you don't have to have dead weight. And so let me just show you what I mean. Here are the main three funds I want to highlight. I'm holding these in my Roth. SPMO is the S&P 500. XMMO is the mid-cap S&P 400, so middle-sized companies, just below the S&P 500. And then XSMO, that is the Russell 2000 small cap, so the smallest companies, but relatively speaking, the smallest companies that are publicly traded, but big enough to still be players. So the whole idea of these is to basically take each of those indexes, the mid cap, the large cap, and the small cap, and just play with those funds and just ride the winners, sell the losers. And I will say this momentum strategy is not equally created, but Invesco seems to be doing the best with at least these specific three funds. I can't vouch for all the funds that use this methodology. I found even one that tried the NASDAQ 100, and it was not beating NASDAQ 100 last I checked. But let me show you what I mean by the amazing returns of this particular subset of ETFs. Now, here's a standard mid-cap fund, right? The middle-sized companies. And here is the one-year return. And what do you see? You see 20%. And this was true of BlackRock's iShares version of this, basically the exact same percentage return for 1 year from today. And here's BlackRock. So same return, 20%. And here is the mid-cap version. This is 1 year, mid-cap momentum, Invesco, same company. Look at that return, 45.77% return. Now here's the insane thing. This is almost unbelievable. This is the 2x leverage version. Now let's switch to 1 year. Look at the returns, 29%. Now with leverage, you are going to have volatility decay. So when the underlying fund goes down 1%, it's going to go down. This is a 2x fund, 2x leverage. So it's going to go down approximately 2 times. And so if there are some significant drops, it has to work twice as hard to get back up as the underlying. But nevertheless, usually the leverage version is going to be unleveraged if it's a bull year anyway. And the incredible thing is this momentum strategy across the indexes. If you look at the different small cap, mid cap, and S&P 500 levered 2x funds, this strategy is beating them. And you don't have to use leverage. You don't have the added risk of using leverage, which is so incredible, and you don't have the added fees. So that's one of the big things I like about it. And I did some back tests, so I'm going to show you some of those back tests. Here is just the mid caps here. I think the only thing I'm measuring is S&P, mid cap, small cap, back test as far as the youngest fund's age. And let me see if I can get this on camera here. All right. And as you can see, the these funds tend to perform pretty well. Obviously, as you would expect, S&P is pretty darn close. Actually, looks like the mid cap might be the winner here. Let's see. Yeah, mid cap is barely edging out, but pretty darn good returns, and annual returns looks pretty good. Here is 2024's returns for these funds, and the next back test I do here, I put them in different portfolio categories. So here is just the normal S&P, normal mid cap, normal small cap fund, ETFs. Here is in one portfolio the S&P momentum, mid cap momentum, small cap momentum. And here is what we have as far as the youngest ports or the youngest funds, performance. So as you can see, regular index fund is in blue, and the momentum strategy is just kicking butt. I mean, there's just no real comparison. So it's almost, I mean, it's not quite double, but they've had the same amount of time to play it out, and the momentum funds are winning that one. Now, let me just see if I can grab the annual returns. And between these two portfolio strategies, regular, just straddling the three indexes, you would have 16% return, according to this, in 2024. And the the momentum strategy, you would have had 33%. And already you can see the difference early in 2025. The momentum is almost twice the return of just the regular indexes. Now, here is an additional comparison. This is a comparison between those two previous portfolios, just the regular index right here, S&P, mid, small cap, momentums of the same. And here is their 2x levered version of each of those indexes. And look at the results, man. The results show that basically, so here's portfolio 3. That is the levered version. The momentum version beats the 2x leverage version of these ETFs, of these indexes. And so that's just such a cool thing. So I would encourage you to look into the momentum strategy ETFs, especially these particular ETFs that I can vouch for their returns, SPMO, XMMO, and XSMO. And I think if you applied this strategy, you would even beat Warren Buffett's strategy of how he would invest for the safest consistent return. And by the way, I'm just going to, for the sake of the argument, compare Berkshire Hathaway, because that's Buffett's company, with those funds. And it looks like if you had bought Berkshire Hathaway at the beginning of last year, or at least 1 year from today, you would only have 27% returns, and the portfolio of the momentum funds gave you an average of 33% return last year. So this fund is beating Buffett directly, or these funds, I should say, and you don't have to use leverage. It's just a very cool algo-based or algorithmic-based investment strategy, and you have presumably less risk because it's selling the losers, it's buying the winners, and it's riding the kind of the wave upward of anything that's in those indexes. So if you like this video, please like and subscribe. Please leave a comment and tell a friend. Thanks so much for your time. And I hope this is not investment advice, but I hope you jump aboard because these funds are pretty darn cool. Thanks. Bye.